And the best part about this is Toronto has no idea what's happening right now.
I will download this one and listen to it on the podcast.
Casey played a player who didn't win. Michael Thomas is responsible for the pizza and the engravings. Parker and Joel are victors too. We are safe from return touchdowns, at least until next year. Will we keep kickers and total quarterback? I can't wait for next season. I did it once, I did it again.
Wow.
I won the league, the season's end. I did it once.
And welcome. The Fantasy Trail, Season 10, Episode 19, 20-ish, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
We are back. Gentlemen, it is hard to believe this is our final episode of the season.
Sad. I always get a little bit sad at the end of this show. I'm always just like a little bit, I don't know. I love it. I love the year in review. It's just my absolute favorite. But it does kind of bring me down a little bit. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, Tanala, for a medium that you're trying to grow viewers on, you have a very antagonistic way of starting off the show.
And, you know, Rachel, I will say, like, it really, this is nothing against you. And none of it was. Not the title, not the song. You know, the AI song generation is actually very hard to get it to say exactly what you want it to say.
I mean, taking a chicken head to chicken dinner. I really like that one, man. Dude, I'm down. That was awesome.
But I will say, I know that, like Serrano was saying, that the glory of the end of the year show with all the stats, with all the information that JT throws out, like, I mean, there was pretty much nothing I could do that would cause you to miss the show. I mean,
She cleared her schedule.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how long she makes it once I start talking. But yeah, that was good, Tomo. That was a nice little thing. Lots of little Easter eggs in there if you're paying attention.
I will listen to
it's
it.
worth a listen. Worth a listen for everybody.
we might have a remix at the end of the show.
Oh golly, I can't wait till Mike can't hear
it. I'll listen to both. It's fine. I'll download it.
So where do we kick things off, boys? What do we got to talk about? Yeah, I mean, that's fine. It's like I'm not attached to that one. It's all good. Oh wow, walked in the door. They're still unpacking. Should we begin with the lesser games, if you will?
Sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Which one do you want to start with? You want to go to the Pig Swap Bowl?
Yeah, let's go start with that. Scran, why don't you start off with that one?
It's the it is the least important. And last year I forgot about it. Not that I would have changed it anyway. What I will say here is I was up 7 on Brian. And I think we both kind of, one of the things I could say about looking at Brian's team and just the situation is we, to some degree, had the same thing. His team did pick up a little bit at the end of the year where I really went off the cliff. But like for the most part, like we started off well and were looked as front runners, and it pretty well led to disappointment. He's got to be a little bit disappointed in Seattle's QB. Not that he could have played Green Bay and he would have been there with it. I don't know if that was going through his mind or anything. I had no thoughts. I only had the Bears one. What I could say is, and maybe Jay will bring this up later in the show, it's getting back to that tight end position and the idea that the tight ends have been disappointing. But when you could get that advantage on someone in this week where I picked up Myers, I don't know. There's something to the idea of it giving you that little edge, because I think that there's like gold and garbage. And if you have the gold, I think it could give you those extra points that you need. And that's all. And I was up on him by 7 already. And so it was a 27-point defeat. We'll have to see in the league's rules meeting when we get our thing if I want to swap or not.
Now, Mike, what about the controversy of what Brian shared this morning in that he feels that Rachel perhaps unethically agreed to this without his approval? Now, if I remember correctly, Brian jumped in and later that same
knew
show.
It was happening though. He didn't object when it was in. Do you understand what I'm saying? He didn't object when it was right in there.
Right.
Like when you brought it up, and I'd be listening. I'd be willing to listen to what he has to say, but he didn't bring it up. That's all. Like he wasn't opposed to it right as it came out.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, you ended up winning that. Just if we're looking at it from the perspective here, it was honestly not all that close because of your lead that already existed. Just as a real quick visual aid for you there. There's the breakdown of it. In week 1, you did have them by about 9.5. And
it was 9. Oh, I thought it was. I was mistaken.
Yeah, no, excuse me. I said that wrong. 7.5. Pardon me.
7.5. Okay.
And then by week 2, I mean another 29. So it wasn't all that close in the end. Unlike, as you shared, your seasons, which during my end of the year breakdown, I think you will see you guys really mirrored each other in some interesting ways.
I was saying that I thought that there was similar. He pulled together a couple games at the end of the year, is what if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
go ahead, Tom.
Would it be possible for us to pick the draft order before the start of the playoffs?
Before the start of the playoffs?
Why?
Because I think that if you know you're actually going for the pick swap, that has a little bit more juice behind it.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't necessarily like that.
That feels like a lot for what is a very small thing.
Yeah, but I
mean, I would encourage everyone to do the pick swap. It's been 2 years in a row for me, but I would encourage everyone to. I don't know. Maybe I should reflect on that.
You'll be a part of it every year. You can encourage it.
I'll tell you what. It means that you actually did well at some point.
You were in the playoffs.
Yes, it means you're in the playoffs.
Okay. Interesting. I don't know. Jamal, you ready to talk consolation? Because I do have a good story with this one.
No, can we skip consolation right now? Can we go to the third place game?
Third place game?
Okay.
Because I mean,
it wasn't much.
It wasn't much. So I think let's get it out of the way. But it was interesting.
Colin had perhaps his most disappointing week of the year, one of his lowest all-time scores outside of
he
Jackson
had
Dart.
my team at the end of the year is what he
had.
had.
It was Jackson Dart and Brandon Aubrey were the only two in double figures.
Like you had a quarterback that actually looked okay, and then everything else just went down the toilet.
Awful. I mean, no touchdowns from anybody. He didn't score higher than 8 with anybody. That's atrocious.
That's bad. Except his kicker.
Yeah, I'll say kicker and quarterback.
Kicker, quarterback.
No touchdowns from London, Gibbs, Pitts, Williams, McMillan, Gainwell.
Jacobs. Yeah.
Jacobs,
yep. I mean, a lot of these guys were borderline injured and therefore didn't play. I mean, Drake London, Josh Jacobs, Ted McMillan, all were like healthy guys that were out there not really playing. I should say unhealthy guys. Like they were there, but they weren't really playing. Like if you watched any of the games those guys were in, their backups were there and they were just decoys. Not that Colin cared that much. Third is better than nothing. Though. You do get your money back versus not getting it at all.
A little bit. Yeah. No.
And then there's Casey, who plays a guy who was announced out and then can't figure out with his little pea brain how in the world to solve that.
And I just wanted to clarify, the reason I said that is his backup did extraordinarily well.
There were so many options. It was,
and I'm just saying, like, you could have plugged him in. You could have just boom, boom.
He was announced out at like 3:00.
Okay.
No, he didn't need it. Maybe he just saw it and said, "I don't need it." I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But come on.
But like, I mean, our rule was like, even if that happens, like, you just put it in the group chat, like, hey,
right. Which tells me he probably wasn't watching. And you know what? Like, it is the holidays. I understand. But if you're in a third place matchup, I do at least assume you're paying enough attention.
There's money on the line.
Yeah.
There's money on the line.
It's legit money too. Like we're talking about getting $75 or not. That's not nothing. It's getting your money back.
It's money. Money on the line.
Yeah. Now he won anyway.
He kind of ended the year the way, like, I don't know, like you would expect.
Well,
I know that's me.
He had a great season. He ran into an unfortunate loss in the first game he played in the playoffs, and then put up a fairly good score. Nothing great, but if you added 20 to that, to 150, whatever. He had really brought some people maybe around.
Present company included.
This kind of goes back to the whole reason why we were frustrated with him at times in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he does get third place with an asterisk. Colin, congratulations on your $75.
He bought it.
Oh, man. I couldn't tell if he was legitimately
pissed.
I
think he absolutely bought it.
That's fantastic. You know that you've messed up too many times when people can throw out a fake thing at you and you buy that it's real that you
they mean business now.
Yeah, and I was by that point I was like, well, screw it. I'm just letting it sit out there and I'm not going to clarify that it's not real. He'll never watch this, so
maybe we just keep the money as his buy-in for next year. That way we have it on time.
Well, Michael Thomas, the consummate excellent banker, even in a rough season, has already paid.
There you go.
Yeah. And he has a plan already for engraving, which makes him about infinitely better than the last three engravers.
There you go.
All
right. Consolation tomorrow.
Yep. Which game do you want to start with?
So really, there was one game that mattered a little and one game that mattered a lot. And I think we should start with the one that's a little, and that's the Joel versus Michael, because Michael had no chance. So Michael was out from the beginning, and Joel and Parker needed to win. So let's start with that one.
Okay.
So Michael was going in 0-2. Joel and Parker were 1-1. Joel and Parker had the most points and kept that up with another excellent week, whereas Michael had the least points and had his best week of the playoffs, a 160 to 132. Pretty excellent game here.
With a 1 and a 0. With a 1 and a 0 mixed in there. Just consider that.
1 and a 0 mixed in is crazy when you look at where his score was. And two people that thought they were going to get defensive points with bad teams that both did not.
Yeah, they risked. They're saying they risked the bad team.
Yeah, Michael really got a slight taste of a few weeks of what his season could have been with all the Bengals playing, including this week. Like, just look at that. Like, his team didn't play great. It was Breece Hall, basically, other than them. Yeah. But when you have those three guys, you can put up 130. And if you got a semi-normal game out of Harrison and Waller, he's looking at like a 150 pretty comfortably without anybody exploding, because when the Bengals are rolling, man, and you have all three of them, that's it. And then the other side of that is Joel and Parker did exactly what they've been doing. They got good games out of their top three guys, and then if they could get a little bit of those non-studs guys, the McLaurin, the Wan'Dale Robinson, the Aaron Jones, the Michael Wilson, then suddenly their score looks incredible, because they always had the guaranteed 60 plus from those three studs. That's not a lot of teams have that. Their season to me, as I will cover, is the most fascinating one.
Okay, interesting.
So their win became huge eventually because of the second game. Michael was out from the beginning. Michael was engraving from the beginning, unfortunately, with the way things were going to shake out. But the real game, Tamala, was yours. And I'll let you kind of take away what you know, and then I can fill in if you missed the end.
All right. So I defeat Jake 108 to 109. And really, this all comes down to me thinking I'm smart and playing Dylan Sampson, sitting my third round pick, Marion Hampton.
Getting cute. Do you hear any reverberation of the curse of the kicker? Is there any type of it's happened before?
I mean,
coming up,
and maybe Parker Washington, who's been on a real roll. Like you had some options here, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, I had some options. But
Manon guy's been pretty good.
Look, I sat the Ravens quarterback. I know Lamar was out, but I did make some moves there. Look, I had players let me down. But
you won.
And
so you're acting like you lost here. Now you may have lost the big one.
Let you down all year.
But the killer becomes, because you won, Jake falls to 2-1, and you, because of your coaching, fall a tiny bit short. And Parker and Joel vault from third place to first place in the consolation bracket because of your victory. And you would have had first place if you had played
Hampton.
Let's see, Parker Washington or Hampton over Sampson.
Was Hampton the one that you were questioning, Matt? Was that really the one that you were
Hampton? I took out Hampton that morning
because you seemed dismissive about the Lamar Jackson Huntley, right? Huntley thing.
Yeah.
The Chiefs right?
Look, I had taken Hampton out last minute for Sampson. I thought Sampson was going to get more work in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
And I was worried about the Texans defense. That's really why I took Hampton out.
I mean, on the other side,
as it was, Hampton only had 29 yards rushing.
Yeah, it was a lot of receiving.
Receptions, touchdown.
On the other side, I mean, if you're Jake, he got burned all year with Trick or Treat DJ Moore. It was the ultimate boomer bust. Yeah. He had, 4 games of 20 plus, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games of less than 5 in the last 8 weeks alone.
Just to be able to call that,
it was 20 or less than 5. It's insane. And
to clarify, in a game where they scored 38 points,
in a game where there was a combined 80 points.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
I think you have Stafford with the 3 interceptions, only putting up 14.
Oh, it's so much more than that. Let's get into a real breakdown, because there was one guy, probably the only guy in the league, that really felt the need. Although I probably, if I know Rachel at all, she stayed up because Bijan did just enough to make me sweat. But the end of that game, Jake needed, just going into that night in general, Jake needed 17 points from Matthew Stafford and Blake Corum combined. Tamala, you had nobody left. Scrino, think about that.
Yeah, I want to say this, Tamala. I want to say, if I'm recalling, was the projection ever in the 90s?
Oh, it was way up there. Stafford had very rarely.
Yeah, it was in the 90s.
Very rarely in Stafford.
93 rings a bell to me for some reason, and I could be mistaken.
Stafford very rarely was ever going to be in a situation where he wouldn't have scored that himself. He was averaging 23 on the year, third-ranked quarterback. Mm-hmm. Corum had been so much better lately, only averaged 7, but over the last 4 weeks, 14, 26, 13, 13. Mm-hmm. He'd been well involved in the offense. So combine those two together, they're projected to average somewhere in the area of 30. 17 seems very feasible. The game goes back and forth, really struggling in the first half. Rams make a big comeback. In the end, the way that this ended is that Jake, after the final touchdown to Ferguson, is down less than 1 point, right? The place that he ended up.
Mhm.
And he gets the ball back, they run it down, but they do a little clock mismanagement. By the time they kick the field goal, there's 24 seconds left. So now I'm going, holy crap. And I'm trying to remember how much is each yard, because I couldn't remember how many yards would it need to be for him to get 98 hundredths of a point. In the end, it didn't matter, but there's so many stupid plays.
Million different
the end zone, so there's a touchback instead of running off any clock. The Rams get 4 straight bombs, 3 of which Stafford puts unbelievably on the money. The first one is the one that's off. He misses a wide open Xavier.
The Puka catch.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
The first one is a wide open Xavier Smith, 60 yards down the field, and he misses him. Blown coverage, misses him. Would have given Jake the W. The second one is a bomb to Tutu Atwell that hits him in the hand.
I remember it.
The other arm's getting held, so it keeps him from getting it. No call. The third one is what would have been potentially the single greatest catch in the history of the NFL if they hadn't found a fourth angle review that showed that Puka dropped it. If you guys haven't seen it, go find the catch.
I've seen it. He did drop it.
Left-handed, one-handed, toe tapping on the sideline. Amazing catch.
But it came loose on the way down. And there are people online who are saying, no, this was a catch, this was a catch. And with that one angle, it was not a catch.
You couldn't see it from the first 3 views. They finally show it. So that gets wiped off. Then on top of that, they throw again and miss it on 4th down. So it is 4 chances, all of which would have given Jake the W. And because of that, Parker and Joel do take the win. It's so dumb, like, because it's, it's for $20, but like the investment I had was wild. There's your totals if you're looking at it. If you also at the disparity between you and Jake's games versus what Joel and Parker put up in that last week, man. They had no business. They had no business coming back. They scored 40 more than you. Just like the week before.
And Jake gets it from a sheer win. I got it.
Crazy.
Do you think that maybe in the future, JT, would consider the consolation bracket to just be straight points?
It almost always ends up that way. You have to.
That's what I'm saying.
For it not
That's
to
what
end
I'm
up.
getting at, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, do you almost?
Well,
think,
but I would almost like to reward somebody if they go 3-0.
Okay. All right. It's an idea. It's an idea.
I just find it interesting that I went 2-1 in 3 weeks when I went 5-9 in 14 weeks.
Yeah, well, all these teams didn't, right? You're playing against the worst team, so that kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're going against the teams that didn't play,
and it's a short period of time.
Yeah. So anyhow, it was a fascinating ending. I enjoyed watching that just as much as anything else. And I think that only leaves one game left to talk about.
Let's talk about it, man.
Yeah. And this.
How did it feel this time? My question to you would be, JT, your confidence on Thursday. What were you like? Okay, 1 through 10. 1 means you think you're going to lose, no confidence. A 10, considering all those points that you got.
So you're saying after my performance on Thursday?
Yes.
Mike, if you know me at all,
I know. Oh, I know.
I am somebody that will lean towards it's more than likely going to be a negative. I would say
I just finished watching a Bills game with you. Oh, I get it.
By the way, how did that turn out?
That was the positive one. Jay, I got a feeling. I got a feeling.
Yeah. Thursday was good. But that was not the day that made me feel comfortable. Like
Henry
was Saturday?
No. Hold on here.
I thought Henry's.
I get confused around like the holidays and like with the dates and everything like that. I really do.
Yeah, man. I had
It was. You're correct. That JT, you know what? I apologize. I should have known that, and that's what I was referring to.
Yeah,
the Henry situation.
I'm sorry. Watching that game, you guys met my neighbor the other day. I was watching with him. We're sitting in his garage, having a little beverage or two, and watching that game and watching Henry start to pile up the points and just getting more and more disillusioned emojis from Rachel. Like that was the first time that my holy crap, this might happen radar started beeping. It's an absurd one. But then I was sitting there going, but Puka scored 48 the week before against me, and Casey lost. So of course I'm still finding every way that it's possibly going to happen. I outsmart myself, spending $30 on Taysom Hill. He gets a 0. Meanwhile, Tyler Warren gets a 9 on my bench. Other tight ends I could have picked up.
Meyer was there.
Better. I start, really questioning myself in terms of some of the things I didn't do. And Cook ends up with a pretty lame game. I'm getting comfortable, but I'm still stressing because it's Bijan Robinson. And the minute he burst that 93-yard touchdown, there was a real sinking of the heart. Like, is this going to be?
Almost broke that other one, Jay.
Oh, dude.
When I texted, he almost broke another one.
He's so good that it's like when you watch a guy like that who's on a heater, like it's happened with Gibbs, it's happened with a few others. You're like, holy crap. I'm not sure anyone can tackle this human. So, he ended up short. I just had built up enough of a lead. But, Henry, huge. Getting Flowers touchdown to the end of the game, huge. And I hate to say it, but the FU mode that the Patriots went into was really helpful. I didn't watch the game, but from what I understand, they were up 21-0, and a Jets player took like a real run at May and tried to hurt him and got a personal foul. And Vrabel basically was like, oh, okay, and like kept throwing. And that's why they were just constantly pounding touchdowns over and over. It does me no pleasure to have to root for some of these guys. Like, let's be honest, me rooting for the Patriots quarterback, it sucks. I hated it. Whatever. If they're gonna do well, I might as well get something out of it. Same thing with Henry. He's been a bugaboo against the Bills for years, including this year in the first game. But dang, if they weren't great when I needed them. On the flip side of that, there cannot be a worse combination of two players that would have made Rachel feel the way that she felt this weekend. That is a brutal fantasy loss, Bills loss, and it's Drake May and Derrick Henry. I almost felt bad if I wasn't on the other side of it. So, listen, man, she put up a good score. She would have beat most everybody else. If it wasn't for Joanne Parker, she would have beat everybody else. 2 7-7 teams. We both make it in through the points.
Mm-hmm.
We both did not
Which
have
is
a great
interesting.
seasons. We took down the better teams.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little fun extra wrinkle thrown in. Listen, it all went my way. I've had a 3-week stretch of every single thing going my way in fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel normal, but it was fun. It was fun.
Ooh.
Yep, we'll crack a little victory beer for that one. So Rachel, I'm sorry, but not that sorry.
Ooh, that's kind of a similar hot take. Rachel did get the bad news with Adams out, and then them putting Bowers on the IR, his injury.
Huge. Absolutely, and Odunze, huge.
Now, I do, and Rachel, I hope you're still listening, because I am wondering, do you regret playing AJ Brown? Is this the reason you lost?
What could she have done that would have made it different?
Well, I don't.
It just changes the juju for the whole situation. I think that's what, and I do think she kind of. Oh, okay. She's going back to her oldie voice.
Yeah, I don't know what else I could have done. It was just one of those situations where, I was gonna say it was the injuries that played a bigger role. I don't think she would have sat him anyway. And sometimes I don't know. I don't think we have enough control. Just looking at it here's the end of the year wrap up. I did not rank them by points, but instead by final standings. So if you take a look there, you can see 1, 2, 3 are going to be our light greens. Our fourth place is our lowest score. Serrano, you're there in the middle. Brian with our second lowest score. Joellen Parker with a consolation win. Jake a consolation loss, and so on. If you're looking on down there, that is the final standings. Tamala, though, you should be ahead of Jake there. My apologies. Breaking it down.
Because on the official standings, I'm 7th.
No, you're not 7th. You're eighth. You're eighth. Because remember, the official ESPN standings are not our standings.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. But you are eighth. I did make a mistake there. I think what's interesting is if you look at the preseason rankings, of course, that was done by a collection of, special chimpanzees or whatever. But those were the rankings on the right-hand side. And you can see they nailed it. What can you say? Sometimes you got to tip the hat.
Oh, they really got this one. Oh, boy.
Yeah, did they get any single one? Rachel, I guess. Rachel. Yep.
Dude,
Rachel's the only
one of them's got to be right.
Hey, 1 out of 10, not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
That's ridiculous. All right.
Yeah.
Their AI could improve. Now, JT, what does this bring us to?
Well, I think it brings us to the thing that you happen to enjoy as much as anybody I know.
Been looking forward to it all day.
I started working on it last night. Now there wasn't a lot of things I could do, but there were a few things I could begin to tweak. And by the time I got into it, I just got excited and started actually setting up a template, leaving a lot of things blank, but setting up the template last night. And then I sat down this morning and I was working on it. We had to go out and do some errands. And in the car, Parker was like, that took a really long time, Dad. Like, why do you do that? And I was just like, I don't know, man. I just love stats. And he was like, well, I like stats too. And he goes, do you think anybody else in the league would ever want to do that? And I thought that was an interesting question. So I'm going to pose that question to you guys. Do you think, including yourselves, is there anybody else in the league who would have any interest or care to do the stupid amount of work that I put into this?
If I felt obligated to, I think I would.
Okay.
Does that kind of answer it? It doesn't mean I want to do it. It means if I felt like if you assigned it to me and were like, hey, man, would you do this? I would do it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
Kamala?
I think I would do it, but I'd probably do it in a different way.
No, that's interesting.
I look at how I did the website and the stuff I pulled from the website, which is slightly different than. So and I wonder would anyone else do the website how I did the website? You know what I mean?
100%. So the consensus in the car was that Tamala, you would be one of the people, but that you would do it differently. And that the other person who would potentially do it would be Rachel, but that every one of Rachel's things would be in some way targeted at insulting somebody else in the league.
I like that.
Which I thought was pretty dead on.
I like that.
Yeah. I could see Brian doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. What did I say? What did I say? That's it. I try to do it down the middle. There's a little editorial comment every now and again, but I really do try and do it down the middle. As much as there is some,
I've never seen you unfairly give it to anyone, really.
Well, there's a lot of there's accusations and such, but as the commissioner, I do very, very much of the time really try to be fair in an effort to run the league while also doing things like this. So you ready?
Let's see it, man.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go team by team, JT. Is that? We're just gonna.
Yeah, listen, it's not team by team. It's a great deal, and I'll pull it up for those that are looking. And if you're listening, obviously you can.
I enjoy not doing it, just being able to be entertained by it.
Do you want to not see it?
No. Oh no.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
All right. So most
and
importantly,
we will add it to the website.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're listening and you just want to see it, we'll check that out. So
share out the website.
Here we go.
Man.
Championship for me. I defeated Rachel by about 29. It is my 5th total championship. It is my 2nd time repeating, but first time in 18 years since I've done that. So kind of an interesting way to bookend what I did at the beginning. Casey officially does defeat Colin, though he'll never know. Scrawny defeated for the pick bowl, and then there's the consolation breakdown. All things we have seen before. Here are the final standings compared to last year. I think this is always kind of interesting to see. There's me. I was a 5th seed, 7-7, sneak my way somehow, barely sneak into the playoffs. But if you go back and look, there were many times in our rankings where I was really low.
JT, I think this is one of the more interesting things, and maybe you'll bring it up later. It's just the idea that at one point or another, you had yourself and Rachel out of the playoffs.
Yep. If you go back right now, just to the first time I did my rankings with where we do this and I present the document, I was I was 8th in week 9. I was 8th in week 10. I was 8th in week 11. I was jumped up to 6th in week 12. It didn't until week 12. The third to last week is the first time. And I projected myself outside in week 12. I projected myself as being in only in the 13th week. So that's where I think things get a little weird. Rachel's in a very similar boat. You know, she was the 6th seed. She was 7th last year. She had the consolation win last year. So this is a market improvement. She would have been an absolute dynasty if she'd won. She would have had 3 out of 4, 3 out of 5. I mean, she would have been on the trophy for a third time. So this is a great stretch. You know, she gets first, consolation win, second.
Huh.
Casey was dead last year, 10th place, dug his way out of the basement, got himself up into third. Colin, it feels like he's always somehow in the playoffs, and yet he never wins. I don't think he's ever won. And yet I really feel like he's almost every year in the playoffs. Kind of strange. Scrano, you are the king of being the pick swap winner. That is back-to-back years, though we'll see if you remember this time. Unfortunately, had a big collapse, man. Had a big collapse.
Yeah.
It's kind of your spot. You were looking pretty good there for a while. Brian was 9th last year, so a nice jump up, but unfortunately, he had himself quite a big collapse as well. Started out the year so hot. Joel and Parker, they were 2nd last year, dropping all the way to the consolation winner. There's Jake, who was 3rd last year, so our 2nd and 3rd place ended up both in the consolation match. Jake ends up with a tough one there. Not only drops from 3rd, loses the consolation on the last play of the last game, and ends up with pizza. Tamala, congrats, my man. You did something that I didn't know was possible. You end up with back-to-back 9th place finishes in the regular season without getting pizza. Like that is really cool. So congrats on somehow being bad, but not bad enough to have to get pizza. Yay. And then there's Michael, who I gotta admit, this poor guy's just had a brutal stretch.
It's been bad.
You will see it. Same thing happened last year with the C-Max switch, but here we are. This dude had a pretty nasty double whammy. He is dead last place. He got the pizza. He is dead last in the consolation. He is engraving. Sorry, Michael.
He listens, by the way.
I know. I feel bad. Like
one of our few listeners. I'm like,
yeah, one of our 4. That and the English Jacksonville fan. Here's the end of the year wrap up. I did have enough data where I could go back and kind of look at it and compare, and I think that is really interesting in a few of these cases. The first one that I'm very confused by is the most points. I make a little note of this below, but if you look at the last 2 years of average points, me 152 and Tamala the dominant 155 2 years ago, how is it possible that Casey had the top points at 147 with a great year when we had added in kickers?
Well,
that's fair.
The 155, I had kickers in there.
Fair. So what in the world happened last year? How did I get to 152 with no kicker?
It was that dominant.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
I guess.
okay.
All right.
Yes.
I expected it to be in the 150s again, knowing that we'd added the approximate 10 points a game to boost up the average. So where you do see it is the least points. As bad as Jake Seasons was at the 128 a game, he's 18 higher than Michael was, which tells a lot about how bad Michael's season was last year, and still about 7 points higher than Casey was 2 years ago with the kicker. So you definitely saw Jake's bad season, not horrible. The difference, only 19 between the top and the low. You can see that's the lowest difference of the last 3 years. 41 last year, 26 the year before. Tamala, unfortunately, your appearance here is not a fun one. You have the most points against. It was 144 points per game, which is more than last year's and a little less
there.
than 2 years ago. Yeah, so that's tough when you look at it. You're basically like playing against Casey every single week. That's hard to do, man. That's really bad. You really got screwed there, so sorry. Casey, on the other hand, had the ultimate advantage, which was that he had the least points scored against while scoring the most. 126, Scrino, last year, you had the advantage there with the 122, and last year, or the 2 years ago, was Jake with 124. Those all are, fairly close to each other. Mm-hmm. The difference between those is approximately 17, which is similar to last year.
But still with kickers in the current year.
Yes. Yep.
Interesting.
last year we had said, oh, if you had the fewest points against, that's what got you in the playoffs. It was 5 of 6 teams. That trend ended. Only 3 of the 6 playoff teams were the ones in the fewest points against. So a lot more consolidation this year. I think we kind of see that across the board. The point totals were closer. The games were closer. There was a lot less disparity between the top and the bottom.
Okay, that's interesting.
Point differentials. If you just look at team by team, that to me says Casey should have won. Just look at that.
Yes.
Casey was 21 points better than his opponent every single week. Going back in time, there was me last year at 29. That kind of goes along with what you were saying. Jake 2 years ago, 18. Tamala 3 years ago at 20. Look at second place. I mean, Colin was only 7 points better than his opponent. Third place, oddly enough, me, even though I went 7-7. And fourth place, interestingly enough, Joel and Parker, even they too went 7-7. So, Mike, you'll notice you and Brian not on the list as actual playoff teams. Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
So, all right. It's not on. Okay, this is interesting. Yep. So, are we in the negative?
Almost.
You don't have to know this right away.
No, I mean,
here we go. My bad.
Yep. Sorry, here we go, my friend. You were not in the negative, but Brian, as you see, was. Tamala, buddy, look at this. You do get to make the stats allowed. This is great, man. Congrats. You were negative 14 points per game. Worst point differential. You still snuck out 5 wins. Like, that's maybe the most
interesting, man.
Of the day. You were getting beat by an average of 14 points a game, and you still won 5 times. That's awesome. Yay. Michael, last year, an absolute slamming, minus 30, and still snuck 3 wins. Me, a couple years ago, minus 23, 2 wins makes sense. Scrano going back 27, 2 wins. Like, look at you, man. You're the outlier there. Now, your amount is smaller, but 5 wins. Michael, same thing. He did minus 13, got 4 wins. Maybe the weirdest one of all is this one right here. Look at that. Look at that. Brian was minus 5 a game, and he won more games than he lost.
It's interesting.
That's weird. That means he got destroyed when he
lost. He lost, man.
Lost. Yeah. You got Jake, also right in that same area. But as you see, these win totals are higher than what they used to be. So there's a lot of that. But
it's interesting. It's interesting.
All right. I know, Mike, this becomes one of your favorites.
I love that.
The individual players. Here we go. The most, I don't want him, hot potato guy in the league. Christian, please don't draft me after what I did to Michael Thomas McCaffrey. The number 1 player in all of fantasy. 25.3 points per game. Stacks up nicely against where Lamar and Allen were the last couple years. That's incredible. It's usually a quarterback. Just freaking.
That's insane.
Wow. It's wow. 3 teams had 2 guys each in the top 10 overall. So those should be their best teams. And if you look at it, 2 of them were me with the Pats quarterback and JSN, Casey with Puka and the Cowboys quarterback. And then interestingly, Joel and Parker, Bills quarterback C-Mac. Joel and Parker had the top 2 players in all of fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I want that to sit in. They had the top 2 players in all of fantasy and didn't make the playoffs.
Interesting. Okay. Now that
how? Okay, let's move on to some good news for tomorrow. He loves this. What a fun game. Brian, Tamala, Michael, you guys did not have anybody in the top 10. So be it. Okay. Brian, you'd like to think, really tough. Brian did not have anybody in the top 22. And then my main man, Matt.
That's bad.
Matt, you did not have anybody in the top 27 fantasy players. You had a 17-man roster and none of them. Starting to see where you got that minus 13. A tough one. I mean, really, what are you going to do? A lot of bad luck, but pretty crazy. One interesting thing, we did have more players that average more than 20 points per game. 18 this year. Last year was only 10, 14 the year before. 7 of them were not quarterbacks. Last year there was only 2. So there was an interesting change there. Like, there were definitely more higher scoring non-QBs. And you would have thought, with some of the QBs getting a little, I don't know, bonus you would think, with like, extra
Yeah.
play here or there. C-Mac, Puka, Bijan, Taylor, Gibbs, JSN, and A-Chain. So 2 receivers, mostly running backs.
Okay.
Interesting. Here's the other good ones. Colin had 3 of the top 9 quarterbacks. That is both the best and worst plan ever.
Interesting.
It's the only position you can't play more than one of. That has value. Like defensive kicker, like it I guess helps him on a bye. I know he didn't have these guys all year. I get that, but yikes. Scarano, you have 2 of the top 10 quarterbacks. Bears.
Yeah, I know. And I always saw it as like an area that I wasn't good at.
Yep. I ended up with 2 of the top 7 running backs, Henry and Cook.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cook continues to be undervalued. That's 2 years in a row I've stole him later. Colin had 2 of the top 9 running backs, Gibbs, obviously, and then Jacobs. Casey, oh my gosh. He had 3 of the top 6.
That's amazing.
Receivers.
That's
3
amazing.
of the top 6. Puka, Amon-Ra, Pickens. That is unbelievable. And that right there is why he was doing so well.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel ended up with 2 of the top 9. Look at the names there. 2 names no one would have ever.
Wait. Olave is in the top 9.
Monster end of the year.
I would have said this year's been a disappointment.
Unbelievable. Once Chuck started playing well, it was great.
But that end of the year explains her ascension in the playoffs then.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And then again, you look at me, right? I had 2 of the top 7 running backs. I had a top 3 quarterback. And then I also had 2 of the top 10 wide receivers, both JSN and Lamb. So you can see how I ended up sneaking in. It makes you really more questionable, like how bad I did as a manager in the middle of the season to end up at 7-7. But whatever, so be it. There were only 3 teams that combined to get 7 of the top 10 wide receivers. Look at what those 3 teams ended up being. The number 1, the number 2, and the number 3 teams. Me, Rachel, and Casey. It really seems to come down. Like the running backs matter, the quarterbacks matter. But if you hit those big name wide receivers, that's your ticket to really making it far. The guys that stay healthy, the guys that can consistently put up that 20-point game from a wide receiver. Brian had 2 of the top 9 tight ends. Colin also had 2 of the top 10 tight ends, and some interesting names there. Very interesting names. If you look at who they are, Kelsey, Ferguson, Fannin, and Pitts, not the names you would have expected to see. Obviously, there's some other ones that are in there, but some weird names when I looked at that list.
No Brock Bowers.
Well, he's in there, but it's just like he wasn't one of the ones that had more than 2, so that's all. Moving on down, this is the one that probably takes the longest amount of time, but I do find this really interesting. I modify the defensive scores by going in and adding their wins. So I take every defense and I re-rank them based on where they would have fallen, not just based on their point total, but also based on the way we score them. And it allows you to get to see like how they might move. Now, I didn't tell how everybody moved, but if they don't have something next to them, they were already in the top 10 anyway, but just probably not in this same order. You can kind of see by just looking at where their number was. So like the Seahawks were the top defense. The Texans were second. The Jaguars were third. But then actually, the Steelers were third. Like you can see that the wins start to make some shifts here. So Seahawks were 9 points a game, approximately without the wins bonus. They ended up with about 16 a game with the wins bonus. So pretty cool there. Texans 14 and so on down the line. You look at it, it really shows you picking that winning squad and getting that guaranteed 5 points. It's like a free touchdown pass. It was really hard to do if you were picking and choosing. It was much better if you could have taken a team and just rode them.
A good team. I agree. It's very difficult to pick and choose.
If you picked at the beginning of the year and said, I'm going to stick with the Rams, I'm going to stick with the Broncos, I'm going to stick with the Texans, and you just played them every week.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I ended up doing. I stumbled on the Seahawks later in the year. I did not have them at the beginning. And once I grabbed them, I believe I started playing them over and over. So I grabbed them in the 3rd week, and then I almost played them the whole rest of the year. Again, something that really helped me. They were dominant.
Yeah.
They were dominant.
Interesting.
The two teams that moved up based on their wins were the Chargers. They moved up from 14th, and the Bills, which tied there, also moved up from 15th. The only team that fell out, interestingly, was the Vikings. They would have been in there, but they had so few wins that they dropped out by a little, not by much. Here's your differences. The difference between the number 1 and number 10 at each position is as follows. From the Bills, number 1, to the Chiefs, number 10, was only 4.5 points a game. It was 8.5 last year.
And that includes Mahomes being out for a while.
Yeah, right, which I'm sure dropped it.
Oh,
From C-Mac to Etienne the 10th, a surprise, almost 10 points, doubling from last year. Shows how dominant C-Mac was. From Nakua to Lamb, it was 8 points a game, more than last year as well. From McBride to Fannin, it was 8 points a game, more than last year as well. From Seahawks to the Chargers, 4.5. That's more than last year. And then from Myers to Little, it was 3. We did not have the data, obviously.
and you chose 10 just because there's 10 teams in the league and that we would all play those guys.
Yeah, I was also looking at who got guys in the top 10. That was always kind of the deal. So just seeing the disparity, like you assume you have, maybe one of those guys. It also just ends up kind of showing there's some spots where there's still a real difference. Like, look at that running back difference.
Oh, yeah.
That's huge per game.
Yeah, I would have thought 10.
I mean, Etienne was the number 10 guy. That's great performance.
Did a good year.
Good year.
Yeah, I would actually have thought the tight end would have been the biggest one. That's kind of surprising that it's not.
Fannin had a great end of the year and kind of made a nice little bump to make that happen. I see what you're saying, though, because McBride really was by far the most dominant.
Yeah.
All right, on to the draft.
Love
Mike loves this. Here we go. All right, this is time for the stud steals. I completely arbitrarily picked this, but I had to pick some numbers and I had to make it work. So if you are looking at the 18th round all the way down through the 7th round, I felt like it was a steal if this was a player that ended up in the top 15 as a running back or wide receiver, the top 7 as a quarterback, and the top 5.
You said 7th round, correct, JT?
From the 18th to the 7th. Yeah, because the top 6, I think you're supposed to get guys that end up in this spot.
Okay, very good.
Okay. So in the 18th round, you ready? None.
What?
No surprise. Most people are drafting kickers and defenses at that point. Whatever. 17th round. Oh, hello. We make a couple appearances. In round 17, Joel and Parker ended up grabbing Michael Wilson, a guy who didn't play a lot in the beginning, but then started dominating near the end of the year. 13th game. Good steal. Ended up in the top 15 at wide receivers. Would anyone have ever guessed that Michael Wilson ended up in the top 15 at wide receivers?
Nope. Not at all.
Never.
And
there's
with Whit Murray being out.
Right. There's the Rams quarterback. Rachel, I don't know if you're still watching. And you ended up with the Jags one there once you settled, so it worked out just fine. But you dropped the number 3 quarterback the second week of the year. You drafted an absolute steal in the 17th round and dropped him in the second week. It would have perhaps made your season a little easier, though it obviously still ended up pretty good. In the 16th round, my steal, I didn't get many, but this was a huge one for me. That was Pat's
QB.
Fire. Ended up at 23 a game. He was the number 2 QB in all fantasy. Who would have thought? I would have never guessed.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Round 15 brings us in another interesting one. Colin drafted Wan'Dale Robinson and then dropped him before the season started.
Eventually picked up by Joel's team, correct?
Eventually picked up very quickly by Joel's team, and he was one of their better players.
All right.
So it's a steal, but not for the team who drafted him. In the 14th, there's a name you never would expect to see, Mike. Kyle Pitts for Colin again. 12.4 points per game. Unbelievable. And oh no, it's happened again. Michael drafted the Jags QB, the guy who ended up on the second place team's final roster, 21.3 points a game, and made it through more than half the season with him before dropping him in week 9.
And then the Jags at the end took off.
Right after Michael dropped him. Some might say catalyst.
What are they? Like 8 wins in a row, right? It is right when it happened.
Right when it happened.
Yeah.
Round 13, Casey got the Cowboys QB. I think we made fun of him. 22 points a game.
We at least called him a homer.
He was great. He was great. I hate it, but he was great. Another Cowboys pick in round 13. Brian Ferguson got 12 points a game out of him. Solid, just solid. It's a good pick around 13. Travis Etienne, another Brian one. Look at Brian making 2 back-to-back appearances here. 16 points a game. A really nice performance. The number 10 running back there coming in round 12. That's a great steal. In round 11, nobody got a steal. Yikes. That's a tough one. In round 10, Rachel, you make a positive appearance here. A really, really good pick. This was one of the better steals in all of fantasy. A completely underrated Javonte Williams. Nobody knew how the Cowboys backfield was going to shake out. He became a stud. 15 points a game. I think he was like the number 11 or 12.
Wait. Hold on a second, though.
What's up?
Travis Etienne, I drafted him.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was on Matt's team at some point.
Did you drop him?
No, no.
Oh, I just had the wrong name.
I think it's the wrong name. I was gonna say I wasn't sure though.
All right, I gotta go back and fix that then, because that'll be something that'll change my data below. So I'll make a change there. We're almost done here. In round 9 was the 49ers QB that was actually drafted by Casey, his first quarterback, before he drafted his actual Steelers second quarterback. He waited all the way to week 11 and then dropped him.
I mean, there was an injury, there was a lot of injuries and stuff like that. I get it.
Yeah, I get it too. Scarano, you got a steal there with Diggs at 13 points per game in round 9. Kind of a surprise, I think, for all of us.
Yeah.
8 was Olave. There you go, Mike. 17 points a game. Great season for him. And then Kelsey, who I think surprised everybody by still getting 12 points a game. Wasn't great, but
you would have said he has a foot out the door towards retirement, and you're like, he's still actually scoring points.
Yep. Round 7 is Ted McMillan, a rookie who dropped off a little bit at the end with some injury and illness, but had a nice 13 points for Michael. And that brings us to our bottom. So I'm going to have to drop Brian's down. Brian is tied. Brian and Rachel. Yeah, we're going to have to change that. Brian is tied with 2 with Rachel, who actually had a third. Rachel had a third, and then she dropped it week 2. So I didn't count it as a steal if they dropped them because they didn't get to have that as an advantage. So, Tamala, I am moving you up. Congrats, buddy. Woo-hoo. You get a steal. We finally get some good news for you here. I'll go ahead and throw you in at the end of this to get that accurate.
Why do I feel like I'm going to be all over the next section of this breakdown?
There's somebody that is. It's not you.
No, okay.
All right, let's hang in there. Brian, you had 2. Rachel, you had 2. 2 great steals is awesome. It's hard to get steals. Rachel really technically had 3 if she had kept the last one. Casey would have had 2 as well if he didn't, drop one eventually, though they were both quarterbacks, so it's a little less impressive. Michael would have also had 2, but he dropped 1. Colin would have had 2, but he dropped 1. Me, Scarano, Joel and Parker, and now I got that corrected. Tamala, we all had 1. Jake, my main man, the only guy with 0. That one hurts. Last year, 0 steals got dropped during the season. This year, there were 4. Isn't that interesting? That's interesting.
A lot of them were dropped early, though, like super early.
Yeah.
Yeah. 0, week 0, week 2, week 9, week 11.
Okay.
Yeah,
so, as I said here, here's the thing that's interesting. Drafting a true steal, it's hard. But 2 years ago, there were 8 steals, right? We're talking about the last, 8, 9 rounds here, like 80 picks. Last year, there were 7. This year, there were 9.
Okay.
Are we getting better in those last rounds?
Or are we getting worse in the earlier rounds?
We're going to find out on that.
Yeah, I mean, I could look at it right here. Let's talk some big busts or injuries. The biggest letdowns for one reason or another. Now, some of you might squabble with whether or not this player was technically a letdown or not. I did have a little editorial control here. Injury was denoted with 2 stars next to their name, and I did take that into account. I think that's totally fair. You can't control it. You can't control any of this, of course. We all draft to get good players, but there were some busts. In round 6, Aaron Jones for Parker and Joel. constantly in and out of the lineup, hurt all the time. Just an absolute.
And then when he came back, Mason was still involved with a lot of the carries. Yep.
Wasn't pretty. Round 5. Oh boy, this was a tough one for the league. Yikes. Tamala, you took a gamble on Mr. Ridley, if you will, and that didn't work out so well. Sorry, buddy.
No, it didn't.
Me,
It did not.
a guy has had 47,000 straight 1,000-yard seasons, and I win a championship. This guy does not want to be a part of it. He had no interest. Shatters his own collarbone, leaves the year. Xavier Worthy, speaking of shattered collarbones, went out in the beginning, never really came back to his self after that, third play of the season. Chuba Hubbard lost his job for Colin, and then Marvin Harrison Jr., ew, for Mike.
And I mean, I'm not even 100% sure that it gets the injury designation. I mean, he was out for some games, but
okay, so
horrible in general.
He was horrible in general, and I think he could have got it no matter what.
By the way, a complete bust who everyone in the Bills wanted.
Yeah. When I looked, Scarano, if I saw that a player missed more than 3 games.
3 games. Okay.
Because that really begins to impact. And he missed 4, and then in the last game of the season, he played 3 plays.
Mm-hmm.
So almost 5 games.
Okay.
It was bad. Don't get me
Just
wrong.
bad in general. That's what I really also want to get at. But
in round 4, oh boy, Michael makes another appearance with his horrible stacking. My main man stacked the Bengals and the Cardinals. Didn't go well. Speaking of that one, I didn't know what to put for the QB because even if a guy got hurt, which clearly impacted Bengals QB, you had a backup that came in that still could have scored some points. So I didn't know what to really think about.
I don't think you put an injury designation there.
Yeah, the guy kept playing, right? Rachel definitely just did not get what they were hoping out of that. Brian, same deal. A hurt quarterback. Definitely. Round 4 was a bloodbath. Round 4, absolute bloodbath. It's Connor. It's Bengals QB. It's Commanders QB. Scarano, you make an appearance with the injured Garrett Wilson. Parker and Joel make an appearance with Terry McLaurin. Tamala, you make an appearance with Amari and Hampton. And Jake makes an appearance with Kamara. I mean, injury, technically injury.
It's the whole thing.
Round 4 was cursed.
Yep.
Round 4 was cursed. Ugly. Round 3. Oh, hey, Tamala. There you are again, buddy. Nice to see you making an appearance.
And again, if that one could be one of the ones where you could probably put your star.
Could put a star. Lad McConkey.
No, dude, absolutely terrible.
No star.
Terrible.
No star. Bucky Irving. Ew, another injury. That one hurts too. Going down to round 2. This is where these just crush you. You got Michael and you got Brian. Tyreek Hill. The injury and bust extraordinaire. And then maybe one of the weirdest falls from grace in fantasy.
Especially as their team is doing so well and putting up numbers. And in
the passing game.
Hasn't been injured.
I know.
At least not designated. I don't know. Could be dealing with something.
And then maybe the one that helps to crush more than anybody. You got Malik Pierce. You got Justin Jefferson. And there's a little squabble here. I think he ended up as the 16th ranked running back. I think that's a bust.
I do
for your first round pick. Guy was a top 3 pick.
Yep. I agree.
So, I mean, I would have put Genty on round 1 too.
I think you could.
Okay. So the thing about Genty is if I'm following my thing, he was the 13th ranked running back.
All right.
And you drafted him 8th, right? And you were also taking the rookie risk. He felt possible to put on there, but if you're finishing with a rookie at the 13, I think that seems more plausible and less likely to be considered a bust than you are when it is the superstar like Saquon. Arguable, totally. Again, I admit this is arbitrary.
I mean, high draft pick was supposed to be part of the offense so much, but was above 15. All right.
Brian, avert your eyes, buddy. I think that this says a lot. It says an amazing amount about how well you did in the beginning of the year. To start off the way you did is incredible when you busted on all 4 of your first round picks. First 4, excuse me. That's it hurts. Casey did it last year. It's almost impossible. Casey got dead last doing it last year. You at least finished in the playoffs. Like, tip of the hat for that. Scarano, you busted on 3 of your top 4. Buddy.
Yes.
Yikes, man. Jefferson, McConkey, and Garrett Wilson.
And by the way, none of them are reaches.
Remember when I said that you and Brian had similar seasons?
Yes. Interesting. Okay. But we still kind of held it together a little, or at least tried to.
Great starts. Somehow with guys not doing great, and then couldn't hold it together once that really caught up with you. Tamala, sorry, buddy. You as well. 3 of your top 5. If you wanted to put Genty in there and really make yourself feel better, 4 of your top 5, does it make you feel better? Probably not. Tough one there. Michael, 3 of your top 6 and all injured. Michael may officially have taken over the curse from you, Tamala. His injury luck the last couple of years has been astounding.
And let's just keep in mind that it is that number 1 overall pick 2 years in a row.
Yeah, which Chase ended up really good eventually. Like, not great because he was not consistent, but like his numbers overall weren't bad. So that's 3 other players. Jake, 2 of your top 4. Joel and Parker, 2 of their top 6. Colin, 1 of top 6. Oh, look at that. He got 4th place. Rachel, 1 of her top 6. Oh, look at that. She got 2nd place. Me, only 1 of my top 6. Oh, I got 1st place. And Casey, 0 of his top 6. And got 3rd place. I can't help but look at that. I even italicized it a little bit. I think that's it. Right?
It's very interesting. I don't know if there's any way to control it, though. I really don't.
No, absolutely not. I'm not taking credit. I'm not saying that's it. I'm saying it's indicative of your finish.
It's interesting. Yeah. All right.
This year, we had 21 total busts in the first 6 rounds. 10 of them were injury. Last year, exactly the same. 21 total busts. Only 6 via injury. We had 15 2 years ago, 4 via injury. Like, I look at that. That just tells you it's hard. 20 out of 60 picks, 1/3 of the picks end up sucking or hurt every year, essentially. What do you do with that?
I don't know.
Does that make you hate fantasy?
I don't think there's a way to fix it.
Yeah. So I was mentioning, I thought the weirdest season was this one. And before we get to our last little section, Joel and Parker, to me, had the weirdest overall year. They only had 1 steal. They only had 2 busts. They had the overall number 1 quarterback, the overall number 1 running back, the overall number 1 tight end, the top 2 finishers in all of fantasy. They finished 6th in points. They finished 7th in the regular season. They missed the playoffs, but they won the consolation bracket.
That's strange.
How do you have the number 1 player, the number 2 player, and then the number 1 tight end and finish 6th in points and not even make the playoffs?
But we've said that all year. Where they've always struggled is their flex.
Totally. And that makes sense. But then you go, oh, but Michael Wilson was great. Oh, but Wan'Dale Robinson was really good. Like, there were other guys that were starting to do, like, I don't know. They were so boom or bust. They had a couple top scores. They put up a great
score. Really what it is. That's really what it is that they're coming at certain times. The points are just coming at certain times.
Yep. All right, Scarano, maybe the thing that angers you the most, but also...
Oh, dude, look at that.
There's your round 1 positional rankings.
I mean, Jake has it worse, if that makes you feel any better.
Yeah. You're up there.
Yep, it's horrible. I agree.
Sorry, 16.
And wasn't hurt.
Most people are pretty happy with what they got. I got to be honest. Lamb being hurt didn't do me any favors. 10th is not great.
Interesting.
Puka.
I would have never thought Chase was 4. Oh, dude, Puka destroyed it, man. All right, let's go to the second round here, man.
Round 2, not bad until you get down there. There's some really good. I mean, these are 2 of the better first rounds we've seen.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting where London was before he got injured.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that crushed, that
all
crushed
part of it, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
crushed neighbors.
Here's your hit rate. Hit rate means that their position we'd like to think if we draft them in the first 2 rounds that they're going to be a top 5 finisher. Casey was 2 for 2. Joel and Parker went 2 for 2. I went 1 for 2. Rachel 1 for 2. Colin 1 for 2. Scrano 1 for 2. Jake 1 for 2. Michael 1 for 2.
Oh boy.
That's it. Tamala and Brian, the only 2 squads that did not get a top 5 finisher from their number 1 or 2 picks. Only 4 of the 10 picks in round 1 were top 5 in their position. There were 6 last year, 4 the year before, and only 3 of them were busts. 4 were last year and the year before. 4 of the 10 picks in round 2 were also top 5, plus 2 were busts. Combined, in rounds 1 and 2, you had a 40% chance, which is exactly the same as last year and 35% the year before, to get a top 5 player. You have a 40% chance in the first 2 rounds to get a top 5 player. You have a 25% chance to get a bust, and you have a 35% chance to be like meh.
Good, but not great.
40% chance.
Roll the dice.
All the information we have, all the websites, all the rankings, all the podcasts, all the YouTube, all the information, all the brains we think we have. We are drafting what we think to be the best of the best, and you have a 1,000% harder chance than I would have thought.
I mean, Jay, like the question is, I mean, like, and I'm just trying to think back to the draft because I know you just looked at it. Do you recall any like huge reaches in those early rounds?
No. Not at all.
No.
I mean, if anything, you would have said, "Oh, C-Mac, is that it?" And he's the number 1 player.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't think that was I think that was a reasonable pick.
The bravest picks were C-Mac, Genty. Like it's brave, but everybody was on board with it. And if you look through the rest of them, gosh, I don't know. Maybe Bill's QB.
Maybe
it was early,
but still came up 1.
But he ended up the number 2 player in all of fantasy.
Yeah, still came up 1 in the position. All right, I don't know.
I don't see
Roll the dice,
risky. Man. I mean, the only one I would have maybe not drafted because I would have been scared is Tyreek Hill. The last one in the second round. And that might be just me being revisionist. We conclude with this. 8 out of 10 teams were disappointed with either one or both of their top 2 picks. And the 2 teams that weren't got 3rd place and 7th place. So it's not like that locked you in. The 2 teams that busted got 6th and 9th. In the end, you can get them right, you can get them wrong, and you're still getting nothing promised. I mean, the 6th, 7th, and 9th place teams were the ones that either got them or didn't. So it's like, as much as we break this all down, there are patterns, there are things that matter. But trying to draft in those first 2 rounds are not the end-all, be-all. Most likely you're going to get at least one of them incorrect.
Look how many people were 1 and 2.
It's much, much more about the ones up here. This is where it lined up. Where is it here? This one. It's your bus. It's don't get bust. It's like they can't be awful. They can't get hurt. That's where you lose it. It really doesn't have to be superstars. They just have to play and be good to great. Even if they're good, it's okay. All right, boys.
JT, hats off, brother. Hats off. Excellent work. How many pages is that, Jay? I saw you scrolling through. I wasn't exactly counting. What are we talking here, buddy?
5.5.
Dude, 5.5 pages of work. No pay. No, come on.
Oh, I don't know. Some might say I got paid $300.
Listen, man, I love it. I think that. So, what your conclusion would be? More luck than ever. Is that what you're kind of saying here?
My conclusion is not necessarily it's more luck than ever. I do think there's a lot of skill that goes into those middle round picks. Okay. I do think that luck plays a huge role. I think it would be a lie to say that that's not a piece of it. Right. I think those middle round picks that are very difficult, because I looked at Joel and Parker and I said, you guys should have had a much better season. And I said, Parker, you checked out on the draft after the first 4 rounds. Yep. You didn't want anything to do with it. And that's where you guys got hammered because he took over the team and he knows how to play fantasy. He won his league. He's going to probably fully take over next year. Like, this is not going to be something where he's going to struggle, but he needs to learn that that's where you make your money. Mm-hmm. And I think if you don't know the league, which has always been Joelle's issue too, knowing the depth. She knows the top guys. We all know that. We all have the same shot at getting him right or getting him wrong. It's don't make a ton of busts near the end and maybe get a flyer or 2 that works out for them.
You're right, man. I like your conclusion.
All right, Scarano, I got to ask, any hot takes?
Listen, well, the only hot take that I think we could talk about is the Bills and what happened with the 2-point conversion, whether it was the right call, whether it was the wrong call. And all I'll say for anyone who complains, this includes everyone on the Bills Mafia page. If he makes the 2-point conversion and we win, there wouldn't be a single one of you out on Facebook complaining. Listen, he missed Shakir. If anything, you want to put some blame on this game. That game was Allen's loss. The 17-yard sack, the fumble, which, by the way, was a fumble in my mind, and him missing a wide-open Shakir is the reason we lost that game. Tamalo was there for it, and he got to witness the whole thing. It was great when he missed that pass to hear a yes in the background. It was great. That's
really lifted the spirits of the 4 Bills fans that were in there.
It really went well, man.
Yeah. No, in truth, had a nice time gathering together some Bills fans and Eagles fan. And I think I will give Kamal a lot of credit. I think you did a really nice job of balancing your fandom, which we were obviously going to root, but also being respectful of the fact that 4 people were ready to jump off a bridge. Probably because you wanted to walk out of the house, but still, it was a nice way to like.
He had no gloating at the end,
but also not have anybody be an ass.
Yep, no gloating. I'll give him credit.
I don't know. I think it was the right call. I said it from the beginning. I think it's the right call. You got a hurt quarterback. You have a kicker you cut the next day. You didn't trust him. You just had a blocked extra point. You're wanting to end this game. Everybody's wet and miserable. You drew up a beautiful play. You had it. And 99 times out of 100, he probably hits that. He knew it. I do not blame him entirely. He did make a couple stupid plays, but he also made a couple great plays. I cannot believe the hook and ladder keeps working. I cannot believe that Jalen Hurts did not complete a pass in the second half. I cannot believe that the Bills defense, as bad as they were, shut down the Eagles for the entire second half. We didn't get a turnover, and we honestly did not deserve to win that game, and yet should have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That sums up the freaking Eagles season, though, doesn't it, tomorrow?
Yep.
All right, so I'm looking ahead. We got 2 opportunities to potentially get together as a league. I know we have done this a couple times, including last year, which was a lot of fun. It is hard when we are looking ahead because there are teams that people root for, and I don't think we want to have any kind of league gathering during those times. So what I'm going to recommend is that we wait and see and take a look at a potential playoff date, looking at maybe next Saturday, if nobody has anybody playing, for maybe that like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, like second half of the first game, that we could do like a 6 o'clock meeting somewhere next Saturday as a possibility. Of course, that gets thrown out the window the minute somebody has a game, if they're interested in coming. So, don't worry about it. Casey's team is out. So we can rule that out. But like, let's say Eagles or even potentially Panthers. And then obviously Bills. Now, Browns, I think, probably not going to be in.
Well, they're not.
Oh, okay. Just
all right.
But like, obviously, I think that's the more respectful way to do it, because I don't want to put somebody in a spot where they have to choose between fantasy. Because I wouldn't want to do that. I don't want to go watch a Bills playoff game with the fans. It's hard enough watching it with people. It's
tough, man.
It's a very stressful event. So, can we tentatively say that we'll look at next Saturday for anybody who can make it? If that doesn't work, maybe the following
that's
Saturday.
the 10th.
Yeah,
The 10th
so it'd be
is
like
correct.
the 10th at like 6 o'clock, 5:30. Try and keep it at a reasonable time in case people want to bring kids.
All right.
Yeah. All right, I'm in. I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
I'll check with the old lady, to be honest with you, but we'll find
Well,
out.
we usually try, like the Fuqua area is awesome, obviously, for me and Mike, with the most centralized, but it's a little bit more effort, I know, for others, but it does tend to be a little bit more centralized for the parties that are coming from the Lillington/Raleigh area. So we can firm it up maybe by Sunday night once the playoff matches are in and start to see if anybody's interested.
Speaking of playoffs, as always, we will be doing my playoff pool this year for everyone just to keep it going. Tamala, I'm looking for you to participate this year. I've got an eye. That's right. But I'm willing to take any suggestions, especially maybe on that last week of the AFC Championship, because I know we always bet, the over/under and the winner against the spread. And if we could come up with maybe something else, maybe one more thing, because it just seems to get real tight there. That's all.
All right. I would like to conclude with just a quick shout out. There are, I think, countless leagues we've all been a part of. And as we wrap this up, I just think it's worth noting how cool our league is. I know this gets mentioned every year, but it's worth continuing to mention because we have really crafted and built something that I think is as good or better than any fantasy league that exists out there, because it can still get better. We built something that can grow and evolve. We have rules meetings, we have buy-in, we have a chat. We have a freaking YouTube show that people in England like to watch who are Jags fans. We have AI songs. We have constellations. We have pick swaps. Like, we do duck races. Like, there's plenty of creativity out there. We've got a fun trophy. We have the engraving. We have the pizza. We have a gathering. Like, there's just a lot, and it takes a lot of people. So like, I appreciate. I love the idea that we've got a kid involved for the first time. We got somebody that likes football that is going to fully take over. We have a full youth involved next year. We have voting that goes on. Tamala, all your work that you put into making this show happen, and the songs and the links and everything is awesome. Scarano, your promotion is second to none. From the emojis to the constant hype and the love. The stats is a pain, but when I know how much you're constantly like talking about it, appreciate it, like that's part of the reason you want to do it. So
I've been talking about it with them for weeks, by the way.
Rachel and Brian, you guys are the most loyal viewers imaginable. I love having you guys here and commenting, even when you're dealing with kids and sickness and travel. You're always a part of it. You guys are as invested as anybody. I love it. Colin balancing all of the new additions to his life, consistently being good at fantasy, making appearances every time he can. Really love that. Casey doing an awesome job of really starting to have a little redemption arc and then crashing right on down at the end of the season in classic Casey form. Gotta love that. Michael, the banker, just keeping the money, being
ton of work.
His payments go out. It's a pain. Being a banker is a pain. He is so good at that, so on time with that. I really appreciate that. And then Jake, managing to be a part of the league, managing to be invested, even though he's 600 miles away. It's really cool. I love that. It's another way to stay connected with somebody that I miss. So just a tip of the hat to everybody in the league. I hope I didn't miss anybody there. I appreciate all you guys. It is really, really fun. Win or lose, it is really fun to be a part of this league.
Absolutely. Hard to believe we've been here. This league has been here 20 seasons. I think JT, this is your 18th season.
19th.
10 years of us doing this show. I remember the thought like, hey, let's do a podcast. And you're like, what the hell's a podcast? Like, honestly, I look forward to it. One of the best parts of the week.
Absolutely. It's a great way to keep in touch. It's a great way to keep in touch. I know I get to see Mike now thanks to work, but if it wasn't for these kinds of things in this league, I would definitely lose touch with more people than I would like to. And it's a great way to make sure I don't.
All right. That is it.
That's it, man.
Repeat. Anybody want to talk about it?
No.
Congratulations.
Glad it wasn't brought up.
Cheers, boys. I can't wait to have the trophy not leave the wonderful place my wife has it displayed right now. We got a new song? Is it just static? Oh, Rachel, it's all right. You got second. Second is like being on the back of the trophy. In fact, I was thinking of having Michael, if he wanted to like put my name on the front, he could put your name on the back. So that's the way we like show second place.
This one's for JT, Boone Trail Champ, 2-time repeat consolation bracket. Who came in second? It's Rachel and Colin snuck in third. Casey played a player who didn't win. Michael Thomas engraving. Pieces on him. No return touchdowns for at least a year. Kickers total QB next year. Parker and Joel win. Oh, hell, the king! Can't wait for next season. Can't wait for next season. Can't wait for next season. Oh,